Hey everybody, my name is Wyatt and I'm Ferda Tunes, and today we finally got a brand new episode of Diving In where I go headfirst into an artist's discography, analyzing my thought process from album to album. Finally, back on Kate Bush. Now I know it's been a minute, and last time I literally said it may take months, and lo and behold it did, but Kate Bush, man, there's something special. I'm sure I don't have to tell y'all that, but this album in particular was a lot, as was the last. So if you want to see me cover her previous albums as well as Hounds of Love, which I covered first, I believe, y'all can check out. They will all be in the description. And from now on, of course, we already did Hounds of Love, but now we are going in chronological order. I'm just hella excited, y'all. At this point, Kate Bush is just blowing my mind left, right, and center, and especially after this album, I am all the more intrigued as to get into the next one, which we will get to. So how else can I start this by saying flat out, this is Kate's weirdest album, period. I was really struggling to write about this album for this exact reason. It just feels so monumentally out there for the time it was released. From all the experimentation, Kate's off-the-wall eccentricity and delivery throughout the majority of these songs in her vocals, the intense progressive elements layered throughout so many sounds here. It feels like this album was decades ahead of its time, but it also has so many traditional instruments or elements that blend with a lot of interesting ideas and get twisted to almost alien-like proportions on some songs. Now, of course, there was a boatload of psychedelic and experimental music that came out in the 60s and 70s that predates a lot of the impressive and creative experimentation on here, but the way it's all packaged together song for song here is so insanely unique, it's almost scary. So many tracks here sound old, vintage, and mythological, but simultaneously spirit-wielding and otherworldly. It almost feels like a refreshing modern take on experimental music from the 60s. But this was actually released in the 80s. Like, how is that fucking possible? I remember I said this when I was covering Never Forever, but this feeling is so much more apparent here. This feels like the exact album I would expect, like, a teenage girl in the 80s playing in her room and her parents, like, listening, thinking she's a fucking witch or some shit. And this one especially, like, there are some songs on here there are far too many moments to say where Kate just sounds like she's completely lost her fucking mind in the studio, vocally and instrumentally, in any way you can imagine, really. There's a lot of passion and anger and sadness and triumph blended into so many tracks here across the board. It can be a roller coaster of emotions, but if you're into this type of old classic sounding psychedelia and experimental music, this could be her most captivating work for you. Front to back, there is no dull moment, not a second wasted. There's always something deeper to hear. It's so easy to get lost in these songs and wind up just feeling like a confused day tripper. From the first track, it is no holds barred. The drums just pull you in and rock your head around, mixed with the piano and this quirky synth that pops in. It adds this weird dancey element, and I just feel like rocking my body around violently whenever that chorus comes in. And already we're seeing a whole new side of Kate. So much more aggression. She's 10 times as in your face as she's ever been, and by the end of the first song you realize, like, yo, I just sat down for a relentless whirlwind through a chaotic mind. Oh my god, that's a what the fuck. Oh, I love everything about this song. Snapping already, like the vocals, I haven't heard these type of, she's in another bag already, I can tell. I'm rocking to this. I love the piano, that's the fucking icing for me. Oh. Holy fuck, eh? Like, oh, yo, But the second song, There Goes a Tenor, still perplexes me. The sound of it is so odd, yet so accessible in the context of the rest of the album.
Okay, remember, turns into void.
The flow and progression is so intriguing, it's almost mystifying. The story behind the song is really cool as well and adds a lot more suspense to everything going on, but even I can just kind of bump to this one. I just love bopping around to this. It's got this bounce that's just so weirdly catchy.
Oh my god.
We got the job sized. Nice. The lookout is popcorn.
What is this? Like,
This is one of her more kind of piano rock type of songs where I didn't love those ones in the past, but this one hits.
these vocals are like, oh my god, they're mixed so, like, I don't fucking know, it's crazy.
You blow the safe up.
Oh, yo, this is too good. Oh, fuck.
Pull Out the Pin, odd enough, took quite a few listens to really grow on me. It's easily one of my favorites here now. Kate's vocals are passionate to say the least, but the soundscape here is so bubbly and organic. The song itself feels very obtuse, but twisted in a weird way, but it's so easy to just lay down and let every sound in this song just caress you.
Like,
I can't say it enough, but like she was so ahead of her time, and with this song, like this shit could drop today and it would still sound so far out there. I know a lot of artists that shoot for this kind of sound and do well, but god damn, Kate just takes it to almost ritualistically weird places, and the way this song fizzles out too, it's just
holy fuck. Like, oh my.
Suspended in Gaffa is tough to argue for it not being the most poppy song here. The build-up feels like flying up a mountain. The layered melodies are so euphoric. This may be the best song here. I don't know. This is definitely slipping into my top 10 Kate Bush songs so far. Like, literally don't know what else to say about this one, but I wish I knew, because oh my god, it is so god tier.
I'm so sucked in, like this.
Leave It Open is just another example of how insane her taste in drums and overall percussion is. The vocal effects here also just seamlessly take you so much deeper into the album experience.
God, the vocal effects.
Before the song just slowly explodes into this trippy hurricane of acid rock. The rewinded vocals just send you soaring into this endless void of psychedelia. Almost, this one is perplexing.
Oh my god. That was some psychedelic shit. Wow.
And it like almost prepares you for the next song, if that's possible. The title track here just absolutely baffles me and leaves me frozen and jaw-dropped every single time, even just a few seconds into the song. It has the twisted psychedelic and world instrumentation of some of the Beatles' most experimental work, but Kay's performance is so much more mythical. The whole song feels almost medieval, and it's very serious, and production-wise, it is just continuously mind-altering, with a very weird section near the end with just like some of the weirdest time signatures I've ever heard, and just the more you lend an ear to it, the more just like You see why I was struggling to talk about this one, right? Like, y'all listen to that song. Just give it a strong ear, and you know, like, what the fuck? Apparently, this song is about the destruction of Australian Aboriginals' land by the British in the 50s, and that, just reading into it in the slightest, takes this song so much deeper than I thought was possible, since the sound of it already is so fucked.
Oh, bruh. Unfortunately, this is when I realized that my reaction video, the original one, my camera just decided to stop working. Yeah, I don't know why. It's done this in the past, and I've tried everything to stop it, but I couldn't get it this time. So, just my sincerest apologies for that. I'm as pissed off as y'all are, trust me.
She continues with a lot of the traditional elements on Night of the Swallow, sounds that I was surprised to hear when I listened to The Jig of Life on Hounds of Love, but now I'm seeing it all make sense. I definitely should have gone chronological from the beginning, but one of my favorite vocal performances from Kate, period, on here, the bass strings on here as well as on the next song just get me going. The hypnotizing, meditative sections and breathing on All the Love are pure bliss. This feels like a very strong mental moment on the album. I can't describe it, but it feels calming and victorious at the same time. And by the time we get to Houdini, like, what do I even say? I love the burst of chamber music in the first section of this song. Her vocals are really something to get used to, though, I can't lie. It just takes me out quite a bit still. I really do enjoy this song. The string section is impeccable, and the blissful tune the song drifts into, but when Kate starts singing from, like, what sounds like the bottom of her throat, it's such an odd wake-up call. I still don't know how I feel about it 100%. It's always so unexpected for me, and my eyes just shoot open. Get Out of My House is the angry, in-your-face finale you would expect or hope. Great tune again that is like lost in the intensity and anger in Kate's vocals. The donkey sounds are a bit much, but they also just kind of feel like the cherry on top of this album. Like, just when you were thinking, yo, this album cannot get any weirder than this, you get this right in your fucking ear.
Oh, fuck me. Oh my god. That is something else.
Overall, this album is fantastic, but it is not for the faint of heart. Unless someone is very big into old school psychedelic or experimental music, period, I don't think anyone would recommend this as a starting point for someone who is just getting into Kate. But it is the perfect dive deeper into her more out there sounds for someone who may have started on Hounds of Love and didn't really get the second half of that album. Talking to myself right here. And again, it's so relentlessly creative. It's not hard to see the surreal vision she had with this album, even if you don't understand or enjoy the sound of it whatsoever, which I think is understandable. Still, I am so happy this album exists, and I wish every artist had an album like this in their discography. One that's just so off-the-wall experimental for their typical sound, especially up until that point in their discography. And one that is painstakingly unique, not only in the grand scheme of music, but for the artists themselves. I will be baffled if there is an album further down in Kate's career that is as uncanny as this one. For a while, I felt this album was very much a novelty to me, something so insane and bonkers, experimental and weird. I would just never return to it casually, but something I could appreciate for what it was and glad I listened to it. Again, I had to take my time with this album because even on like the first 5 listens, I felt this way. So I'm glad I stuck with it and really started to see everything this album has to offer. I have no idea what to expect with the Sensual World, but that makes me all the more excited. Obviously, that will be the next Kate Bush album we will be covering in the Diving In universe, so make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for that. I am on another Kate Bush binge, so I'm going to really try to get the next few album Diving Ins out, so I'm not going to slack on it, but again, it's really just all about, depending on how this music hits me, it's about the process. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you want, I've covered 3 of her other albums at this point, and obviously I won't be stopping there. Hounds of Love is still one of my favorite videos I've ever made, so go check that one out, go show some love. I'm sorry for the lack of videos for the last like 3 weeks. Ever since the Beyonce video, yo, that album just threw my life for a whole different loop. But I promise I'm back on my bullshit now. I got something special in the works, something big, a few big things coming. Yeah. Join the Discord if you want to talk to some super cool people with some super cool music, as well as you can ask me some questions and learn more about what I keep hyping up after every video and I don't know what to say and I'm like, yo, big things coming, and y'all think it's bullshit at this point, I swear to God. So yes, join the Discord. Y'all can support me on Patreon if you'd like, get full unedited reactions. I'll try to get the Dreaming up. I'm sure I'll be able to get it up probably by the time this video's out. You'll see in the description whatever it says, but the Patreon link is down there. Y'all, $3 a month, yo, help your boy out. I need it, please. Y'all can follow me on Instagram and Twitter and all of that good stuff. Much love, and we'll see you in the next one.